Bună ziua!
It is my pleasure to be able to present the results of the 3Cs Initiative Summit today.
Rezultatele summitului celor trei mări de astăzi. Înainte, însă, aș vrea să salut prezența la această conferință de presă alături de mine.
Before I do that, though, I'd like to salute the presence at this press conference by my side of Madam President Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović, of Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki, and US Energy Secretary Mr. Rick Perry.
Și a domnului secretar pentru energie, domnul Rick Perry.
Today I had the opportunity to host the third summit of the 3Cs Initiative, and in the following minutes I shall present to you the results of this summit. Romania, taking the responsibility of organizing this summit in Bucharest, had as its main argument the potential of this initiative to address the real need of the 12 participating states with their economic development and regional interconnectivity, with the view to reach convergence with Western Europe. I can say now, at the end of the summit, that this was a successful reunion with tangible results that turn a new page in the evolution of this initiative.
Dezvoltare economică și de interconectare regională în vederea atingerii convergenței cu Europa de Vest.
I'm glad we were able to have an overall excellent summit despite our difficulties in internal politics, a summit that benefits Romania, our citizens, and our economic development of the whole 3Cs region.
În ciuda dificultăților noastre de politică internă, spre beneficiul României, al dezvoltării sale economice, al cetățenilor români și al întregii regiuni a celor trei mări.
The interest for today's summit was also demonstrated by the level of representation of the participating countries. 8 presidents of the 12 participating states, 1 prime minister, 2 presidents of parliament, and 1 minister of foreign affairs. Also, we were honored by the presence of the special guests: President of the European Commission, US Secretary of Energy, the German Foreign Affairs Minister, the President of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, the President and Vice President of the European Investment Bank, and also a representative from the World Bank.
Președintelui Băncii Europene de Investiții, la care se adaugă reprezentarea Băncii Mondiale.
At the end of today's reunion, we adopted a common statement that underlines the fundamental principles on which the 3Cs initiative is based upon and the concrete objectives aimed through this platform and touched upon at this summit. We now have a common understanding with regards to the main objectives of the initiative, which are in favor of the economic development in our region, in favor of the European Union, and in favor of the transatlantic link. First of all, the initiative aims to contribute to the economic development of the region through infrastructure connectivity, primarily but not limited to connectivity from north to south, in 3 main fields: transportation, energy, and digital. Thus, the initiative is aiming to modernize and consolidate the competitiveness of our country's economies through maximizing the potential of regional interconnectivity.
Competitivitatea economiilor statelor noastre prin maximizarea potențialului interconectivității regionale.
The second objective aims to increase the de facto convergence between the EU member states, thus contributing to the consolidation of unity and cohesion within the Union, with a view to allow the continuation of the European integration policy as a basis for the consolidation of the European project. From this perspective, I am glad that Mr. Jean-Claude Juncker, the President of the European Commission, has accepted to join us today. Thirdly, the initiative aims to consolidate the transatlantic links. The economic presence of the United States of America in the region is catalyzing the cooperation in the area, but also as part of the transatlantic partnership, the initiative represents a regional contribution to strengthening the transatlantic relationship. From this perspective, I am glad that Mr. Rick Perry accepted our invitation. With this occasion, he reiterated the strong support of the United States for the Three Seas initiative, support also expressed by President Donald Trump in his message sent to the participants to this summit.
Susținerea puternică a Statelor Unite ale Americii pentru inițiativă, exprimată de altfel și în excelentul mesaj pe care l-am primit din partea președintelui Trump pentru participanții la summit. Doamnelor și domnilor, permiteți-mi să...
Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to briefly point the main results of this summit. I should start by mentioning the organizing of the first edition of the Three Seas Initiative Business Forum. This event, which I opened yesterday and continues today as well, aims to incentivize business contact and investment in the region, the implementation of the priority projects, but also the discovery of potential growth and innovation factors such as small and medium enterprises, young entrepreneurs, startups and business incubators from our region.
Startup-urile și incubatoarele de afaceri din regiune. Mă bucur că succesul acestui eveniment
I am glad that the success of that event resulted in the decision to organize it regularly, preferably annually. With the occasion of this forum, we also witnessed the signing of the common declaration regarding the creation of the Chambers of Commerce network between the states of the Three Seas Initiative. This network aims to support the activity of the Business Forum and perpetuate the connections between the business communities in the region.
Conectării comunităților de afaceri din regiune. Totodată, au fost întreprinși pași concreți.
Also, important and tangible steps were taken through the signing of the intent letter regarding the creation of the Three Seas Initiative Investment Fund. This fund aims to contribute to the co-financing of the priority projects and be an important vehicle through which the region will mobilize and prioritize its concrete and necessary financial contributions to implementing the priority projects.
Pentru implementarea proiectelor prioritare.
Going back to the things decided today during the summit, perhaps the most important one was the political endorsement for a regional list of priority interconnection projects in the energy, transport and digital fields, a list which was decided based on the contributions by the participating states, including Romania. I shall seize this moment to thank all those involved in the not-so-easy exercise of pledging the national contributions to this list.
Celor implicați în exercițiul deloc ușor al elaborării contribuțiilor naționale la această listă.
The selection of these projects was based on criteria such as regional impact, economic feasibility and compatibility with the priorities and policies of the European Union. Both new and ongoing projects have been selected, and the preference for projects that use new technologies or ensure the modernization of already existent infrastructure was manifested.
Modernizarea infrastructurii existente.
As far as Romania is concerned, the 6 projects proposed were approved by the Romanian government following consultations with the presidential administration. This list is not the list of the presidents of the participating countries, but the contributions of the governments of our countries. Through this list, we are signaling politically at the highest level to investors what are the major interconnectivity projects that our countries consider a priority.
Majore de interconectare pe care țările noastre le consideră prioritare. Această listă este una dinamică.
This list is dynamic and new projects can be added as some current ones shall be implemented and new ideas shall emerge. Over the next period, we will have to focus on obtaining the funding and on implementing these projects. The Business Forum will, at its next edition, have the task of discussing and evaluating the implementation process. Also today, the website dedicated to the 3Cs initiative was launched. The website was created by Romania and will be operated successively by the countries hosting the next summit. Through our common declaration, we also greeted the involvement of the European Commission, the American government, the German government, the European Investment Bank, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, and the World Bank in supporting the 3Cs initiative.
Și a grupului Băncii Mondiale în susținerea inițiativei celor trei mări.
We have also decided together to invite them as honorary guests to future summits as well as future editions of the Business Forum.
Ale forumului de afaceri. Un alt rezultat concret este decizia de a...
Another result of this summit is the decision to accept Germany as a partner state of the initiative. It is a premiere that delights us since Germany has multiple economic interests in the region, while the region has a lot to gain through Berlin's active involvement.
Prin implicarea activă a Berlinului. Am salutat de asemenea participarea.
We have also saluted the participation of government officials and companies from the Western Balkans and the Eastern Partnership at the first edition of the Business Forum and decided to keep on inviting officials and companies from these states at the future editions of the Business Forum. All of these results are coming after 1 year's worth of hard work on a diplomatic level.
Sunt rodul unei munci asidue desfășurate pe parcursul unui întreg an.
I can thus say that the 3Cs initiative has reached full maturity, both conceptually and politically. I can also state that we have all the conditions and instruments to work on implementing the decisions we adopted at this summit. By this we mean we have our clear objectives, we have political and financial support for the purposes of the initiative, and we are creating the much needed strong networks between the business communities in our region. The 3Cs initiative has from now on an important road to go in its new development stage that begins today. Once again, we're talking about the essential mission of implementing the major interconnection projects and tighten the connections between our business communities in a regional network and part of an extended market of the European Union.
Parte a pieței extinse a Uniunii Europene.
These are also the arguments for the relevance of our initiative in a globalized world where connectivity has become a key premise for further economic growth. Romania is prepared to continue its active contribution, including during the period in which our country will hold the seat of the presidency of the Council of the European Union in 2019, with a view to materialize the potential of this initiative. We shall thus act in the benefit of the citizens of the 3Cs initiative, of our neighbors of the European Union and the transatlantic partnership.
Beneficiul cetățenilor statelor participante, al regiunii, al vecinilor noștri, al întregii Uniuni Europene și a parteneriatului transatlantic. Am plăcerea să vă informez că
Lastly, I have the pleasure to inform you that the next edition of the 3Cs Initiative Summit in 2019 will take place in Slovenia at the proposal of President Pahor, and I wish you good luck to the organizers of the next year's summit. Now I shall cede the floor to Madam President Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović.
În continuare, am plăcerea să dau cuvântul doamnei președinte Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović. Doamna președinte, you have the floor.
Hvala lijepa.
Thank you very much. Esteemed colleagues, government representatives, representatives of the media, I'm using this occasion to express gratitude to our Romanian hosts on their cordial hospitality and excellent organization. Dear Klaus, thank you. Everything's been really excellent. It is an honor that today with us have also attended the President of the European Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker, Secretary of Energy of the United States, Rick Perry, and Foreign Affairs Minister Moss, representing Germany. Also, I salute the engagement and involvement of representatives of the World Bank, European Investment Bank, and the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Their engagement today shows how there is a broad understanding regarding our goals and that the great potential of this initiative is becoming more and more recognizable.
Svjedoči o tome kako za naše ciljeve postoji široko razumijevanje te kako golem potencijal ove inicijative postaje sve više prepoznatljiv.
Member states of the European Union are not islands in and of themselves, but on the contrary, they are drawn to one another and we all depend on each other. This initiative, at its core, is directed towards progress and well-being of the EU in its entirety. The same way the initiative has to contribute to the development of Central Europe in order for the differences between the so-called Old and New Europe to be erased, and in order for our citizens of Central Europe to be able to join in opportunities for growth and development of the standard of life in the same way it is possible in other EU member states.
Kako bi se našim građanima u Srednjoj Europi pružile jednake mogućnosti za razvoj i rast životnog standarda kao u drugim državama članicama Europske unije.
The goals of the conference are economic convergence, cohesion of Central Europe, and the strengthening of transatlantic links through projects of transport and energy infrastructure and digitalization, and laying the foundations of cooperation between our companies and investors.
Te poslovne suradnje između naših tvrtki i investitora.
Unequal development and underdevelopment of this part of Europe is shown in the data about the differences between the GDP ratio when compared to the European average. For example, the range from the country which has had the lowest percentage of GDP compared to the European average, which is also a member of the initiative, is 49%, while in contrast that percentage stands at 253% when compared to the European average in Luxembourg.
253% koliko iznosi prosjek u Luksemburgu.
We can also look at the disparity on the regional level. One of the poorest regions of the European Union is also located in the space of the Three Seas initiative and has 29% of the EU average GDP, in contrast to the 611% of the richest region in London, the United Kingdom. Croatia has been standing at 61% of the GDP average for some 10 years, unfortunately. Our goal is to increase and strengthen the economic development of Croatia and this entire region. When we look at our regions, continental Croatia is at 61% and Adriatic Croatia is at 67%.
Osnažiti i povećati gospodarski razvoj Hrvatske i cijelog ovog područja, a kad gledamo naše regije, kontinentalna Hrvatska je na 61%, a jadranska Hrvatska na 57% u odnosu na europski prosjek BDP-a.
After the exceptionally successful business forum of yesterday, I'm glad that we have, at least on a political level, made some progress. The business sector is the foundation for all developed economies, and I'm especially happy to see that the role of the business sector as a key partner in the success and long-term sustainability of the initiative is properly recognized. Last year in Warsaw, we have presented a catalogue of over more than 150 projects which are essential for the realization of the North-South corridor. Their combined value is 45 billion euros, with the aim of tying together political investments on the highest levels and the realization of concrete projects in order to strengthen the connectivity of countries within the region with the rest of Europe. This year we have prepared a smaller number of key regional projects essential for the areas of transport, interconnectivity and digitalization. Considerable financial resources will be needed for their realization. With that in mind, I greet the initiative for the creation of an investment fund within the framework of the 3Cs initiative, which will complement other forms of investment instruments.
koji će nadopuniti druge izvore financiranja poput EU fondova.
Croatia for this summit has proposed 11 projects of combined value of 1.78 billion euros, of which 7 are from the areas of transportation interconnectivity, 3 from the energy sector and 1 for the area of digital communications. Considering that the Croatian media have expressed their interest in these projects, I will state in short that when it comes to the energy sector, the plan involves a terminal on Corfu, Adriatic Ionian gas pipes and the construction of a compression station.
Kompresorske stanice 1 na plinskom transportnom sustavu.
In the area of digital communication, it is about the construction of a national aggregate infrastructure in areas which do not have the necessary commercial interests. When it comes to the area of connectivity of ports and rivers, their project alone costs 348.9 million euros. There are 6 projects: improvement of ports and river infrastructure, a terminal in Zagreb, restoration of railways, construction of a motorway on the A5 road, tidying up the waterway on the Danube near Sotin, improvement of the waterway on the river Sava from Jaruga to Novigrad, rehabilitation of the railway Čakovec-Varaždin, and the terminal for oil and gas in the port of Ploče, which is worth 25 million euros.
Izgradnja autoceste A5 na dionici mađarska granica Beli Manastir, uređenje vodnog puta rijeke Dunav kod naselja Sotin, nadogradnja plovnog puta rijeke Save od Jaruge do Novog Grada, rehabilitacija dvaju dijela željezničke pruge Čakovec-Varaždin i terminal za naftu i plin u luci Ploče u vrijednosti od 25 milijuna eura.
I wish to announce on this occasion that in October this year there will be held a 3Cs Initiative Forum in Zagreb on the topic of digital communication. I invite you to attend that special summit and to debate about the foundations of strengthening our cooperation in the area of digitalization and thus contribute to the projects of the initiative. As a president of a country on whose suggestion, together with Poland, the 3Cs Initiative has been started, I am especially pleased to express my support to the attendees of this forum and to wish everyone a lot of success in further work and cooperation. I'm looking forward to our next meeting in Slovenia in 2019. Thank you very much.
2019. godine. Hvala vam lijepa.
Thank you so much, Kolinda. Mulțumesc, doamna președinte. În continuare, dau cuvântul domnului prim-ministru Mateusz Morawiecki. Prime Minister, you have the floor.
Dziękuję bardzo. Chciałem na początek bardzo serdecznie podziękować prezydentowi Klausowi Iohannisowi.
Thank you. I would like to start by thanking President Klaus Iohannis for organizing a great summit and for the activity of Romania in general, which helped us reach the point we are now in.
Jesteśmy po tym trzecim szczycie Trójmorza w takim...
We are after the 3rd summit of the 3Cs initiative and we are entering a crucial phase. We are leaving the phase of concepts and crafting strategies and are entering the practical phase of implementing our projects. And it pleases me a lot that we have today, within the 12 countries making up the 3Cs initiative, more than 70 projects that we have all agreed on. These are concrete solutions based on the interconnectivity of gas pipelines, transport and other aspects such as cybersecurity and the digital economy.
Komunikacyjnych, ale także oczywiście w obszarze cyberbezpieczeństwa i gospodarki cyfrowej, bo o tym również dzisiaj rozmawialiśmy. Te 3 filary jasno określone, jasno
The 3 well-defined pillars of the 3Cs initiative are transport, energy and the digital economy. When it comes to the issue of transport, we underline how important it is to create and sometimes recreate the links on the north-south axis, such as our motorway via Carpathia. which our government has placed on the list of top priorities. It will form the spine of transportation in eastern Poland and go further down through Slovakia, Hungary, Romania and Bulgaria. And to the north it will connect with Via Baltica, connecting us with the Baltic states. This will connect our economies and trade and create possibilities to invest in each other's countries.
Zwiększymy możliwości handlowe, połączenia gospodarcze, połączenia i możliwości inwestycyjne pomiędzy naszymi krajami. Stworzymy również nową platformę współpracy.
We are also creating a new platform for cooperation between our countries based on connecting our transport infrastructure, but also new energy projects. We have already been working on new gas pipeline interconnections between Poland and Slovakia, Slovakia and Hungary, as well as between Hungary and Romania. We are discussing the possibility to truly diversify our supplies of natural gas, making sure to acquire it from multiple sources. In this context, I also expressed our unease and non-acceptance of the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline project between Russia and Germany. It would be the second line of the pipeline, adding 55 billion square meters of gas per year to the capacity of gas transfers from Russia to Europe. This is not diversification, it's just strengthening the monopolization, and this is why we welcome here with great joy Mr. Rick Perry, the United States Secretary of Energy, representing the Donald Trump administration.
Do spraw energii w administracji pana prezydenta Donalda Trumpa i rozmawiałem z nim również o tym, jak ważne jest właśnie.
I spoke to him about how important it is for us that Europe manages to accomplish true energy diversification, and for Europe, all of Europe, but especially Central and Eastern Europe, to not be dependent and reliant on Russian gas. This is one of the goals that the 3Cs initiative was created for. It's also worth emphasizing that we are about to create a 3Cs initiative investment fund. We are signing a letter of intent to create it. It's a very important step because we want to, in cooperation with various institutions that are very experienced in supporting investments, such as the World Bank, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development and the European Investment Bank. Representatives of these institutions are present here at our summit, and I'm thankful for that, as it shows that the 3Cs initiative is coherent and in line with the investment efforts that these institutions propose and are executing here in Central Europe. Thanks to the creation of the 3Cs Initiative Investment Fund, we will be able to multiply these funds, and it will only serve to strengthen the 3Cs Initiative.
Również w Europie Środkowej proponują i które są wykonywane dzięki tym instytucjom. Zwielokrotnienie funduszy poprzez utworzenie Funduszu Trójmorza może przynieść tylko nowe rozwiązania i same dobre propozycje dla utrwalenia naszej inicjatywy Trójmorza. Dyskutowaliśmy również o bezpieczeństwie w zakresie
We also discussed the issue of security in the digital economy. We need to stress the risks posed by hybrid warfare attacks. Cybersecurity is a sphere in which Poland is working towards innovative solutions, but it's worth pooling our resources within the framework of the 3Cs initiative.
W ramach całego Trójmorza. Mówiliśmy dużo o tym, jak ważna jest.
We also discussed in depth the importance of creating coherent policies. This was very visible today, that the 12 member states are tightening their relations, and that this is done in line and agreement with the family that is made up of the European Union member states. As Pope John Paul II said, quote, "The two lungs of Europe, Western and Eastern, are meant to strengthen Europe as a whole," close quote. And we in addition also emphasize the strengthening of our transatlantic bond. Once again, I want to stress how pleased I am with the presence here of such a high-ranking representative of the US administration. Today, Polish President Andrzej Duda is visiting Washington, D.C. and is talking to President Trump, among other things, about the 3Cs initiative.
Tak wysokiego przedstawiciela administracji amerykańskiej i dzisiaj pan prezydent Duda jest w Waszyngtonie i prowadzi rozmowy również na ten temat. Więc
So Poland and the countries of the Three Seas Initiative are actively working towards strengthening the transatlantic bond, or putting it more clearly, increase the cooperation between Europe and the United States. This is the key to safeguarding peace, strengthening democracy, but also strengthening the perspectives for investment, trade and the economy as a whole. I'm very pleased with us having reached another milestone today on the road to strengthening our Three Seas Initiative alliance. Thank you very much.
Inicjatywy Trójmorza. Dziękuję bardzo.
Thank you, Mateusz. Mulțumesc domnului prim-ministru. Dau acum cuvântul onorabilului Rick Perry, secretarul Energiei al Statelor Unite ale Americii. Mr. Secretary, you have the floor.
Mr. President, thank you very much. It's a distinct honor to be in this beautiful building and be with our friends and allies. We come together. We come together at a vital time, a time to work towards greater energy security, economic prosperity, and most of all, individual freedom and opportunity. We want the countries of Central and Eastern Europe to know that they can count on the United States as a reliable energy partner. The United States is now the world's leading combined producer of oil and gas, and we're eager to share that energy bounty with the Three Seas nations so that they can also create their own energy success stories. So we're eager to do this because energy security is tantamount to national security, and transatlantic energy security is fundamental to the national security of every country. Energy should never be used as a means of political coercion or as a threat to national security. This is particularly true for this region, where Central and Eastern Europe nations continue to face challenges of energy security due to the single supplier dependence and Russia's aggressive posture. Since Russia's invasion of Crimea and the threat of a cutoff of transit in the winter of 2014, Europe's dependence on Russian gas has only been increasing, rising from 30% share to more than 40%. This is cause for concern. A century ago, Winston Churchill, he recognized that safety and certainty in oil lie in variety and variety alone. He would undoubtedly say today the same thing about natural gas. There's a great security in energy diversity, in a multiplicity of energy sources and types, routes. This is why the United States supports the core principle of energy diversification as a key pillar of the Three Seas Initiative. As President Trump said during his remarks at last year's Three Seas Summit in Warsaw, the United States will never use energy to coerce your nations, and we cannot allow others to do so. President Trump has also made quite clear his opposition to projects that run at cross purposes to diversification, notably Nord Stream 2. His call is instead to move forward with specific infrastructure projects to expand diversification, open greater access, and reduce barriers to energy trade. That's why at our meeting earlier today, I was pleased to announce the launch of a new initiative. It's called the Partnership for Transatlantic Energy Cooperation, to answer the President's call. Through that partnership, we'll work together with countries in the region and in close cooperation with the European Commission and strive to catalyze investment in critical infrastructure for the North-South Energy Corridor. Now, one indication of our success will be completing the Trans-Adriatic Pipeline, the Kirk LNG terminal, the Greek-Bulgarian interconnect, and a spat of offshore oil and gas projects. These are important efforts, yet there's too much potential amongst our 3Cs partners for us to limit ourselves to simply pipeline politics. Plans for a nuclear power program in Poland, a relaunch of the Temelin tender in Czech Republic are both important indications of a reawakening of nuclear energy in Europe. Innovation in the next generation of highly advanced fossil fuels and renewable energy. They will offer further options for diversification. And our Partnership for Transatlantic Energy Cooperation will give these types of projects greater visibility and technical support. We're eager to engage. And the business community already is returning to high-growth economic environments. The prospects for offshore oil and gas development in the Black Sea, they are significant. Companies are poised to make final investment decisions on projects that they've taken many years and they've expended millions of dollars. So we believe the best approach for the Black Sea and elsewhere is to work closely with the companies that have made considerable upfront investment in exploratory activities. Equitable solutions will not only yield dividends on the projects of today, but will also build momentum in support of high-growth economic agenda. Today, we can send a clear signal that the United States and Europe are open for business and eager to engage. My experience working with many 3Cs nations since becoming Secretary of Energy gives me every confidence that we will turn the spirit of this summit into actions that will have lasting impacts on the 3Cs initiative across our transatlantic alliance and literally around the world. So we look forward to working together for that future, for a future of greater energy security, economic prosperity, and most of all, individual freedom and opportunity. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much, Secretary Perry. Vă mulțumesc tuturor. Thank you so much.
Sit down.
Well done, sir.
Sit down.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Coming your way.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Please.